I inherited a collapsing garage. My brother inherited a two-room in Manhattan. When my wife, Clara, found out, she paced our living room like a prosecutor with a winning case. Your brother gets New York, and you get a broom closet? You're useless. She shoved my old honeymoon suitcase at my feet and pointed at the door. Go live in your little garage. Maybe the rats will keep you company. Rain hammered the porch as the door slammed behind me. The neighbors watched through their blinds like it was televised. I took a cab to the address my grandmother had left me in her will, a listing metal structure in the industrial district that leaned like it was tired of standing. The key she'd left was heavy and oddly engraved. It slid into the lock like it belonged there. Fluorescent lights coughed awake. Under a dust cover, a midnight blue 1960s Thunderbird gleamed like a secret. Cream leather. Chrome you could shave in. Beside it sat a dark wooden chest banded with greened brass. Inside, letters in my grandmother's elegant hand, black and white photos of dangerous-looking men, official documents, and a maintained Walter PPK wrapped in silk. I read the first letter on a work stool that groaned under me. My dearest grandson, if you're reading this, I'm gone. During the Cold War, I carried things for men who could not exist on paper. The car kept me alive. Now, it keeps you alive. Spy. My cookie-baking, lavender-scented grandmother had been a courier in the shadows. Why me? Another letter answered, You are stronger than you think. The world is about to test that strength. Beneath the letters, an envelope of deeds and bank statements naming David Mitchell, my birth name before I changed it to Miller for Clara, because it sounded more professional. There was a Manhattan lease paid for 15 years, keys, passports with my face and different names. A note. For when you need to disappear and reappear as someone more interesting. I went to see my apartment. The doorman smiled like I'd never left. Welcome back, Mr. Mitchell. Inside, floor-to-ceiling views of Central Park, furniture that whispered old money. In the study, a copy of The Art of War triggered a swinging shelf and revealed a safe. I tried my grandmother's birthday. The lock clicked, stacks of cash. More passports. And surveillance photos, Clara. With my brother, Marcus. Restaurants, a hotel. 2 years' worth of timestamps. In other envelopes, briefcase handoffs, fundraisers, men with eyes like locked doors, contracts, offshore wires, a ledger that spelled out money laundering in tidy columns. Grandma had known. She'd hidden the proof in a life I didn't know I had. I didn't take it to the cops. My brother's friends wore $1,000 suits and treated murder like a line item. I needed someone who punched up for a living. I found Gabriel Torres, an investigative reporter with coffee-stained sleeves and a graveyard of toppled careers. He read for 5 minutes and whispered, Holy hell. This isn't just family drama, he said. It's political, financial, dangerous. Then publish, I told him. If I disappear, the truth stays. His researcher, Sophie Chan, raised an eyebrow. We verify everything or we're dead in discovery. We verified. Long days, longer nights, a small forest worth of records. The first story hit at 2:17 a.m. By sunrise, the market was bleeding. By noon, the FBI walked Marcus out in cuffs. He smirked at the cameras like a man playing a longer game. At 3 that afternoon, Clara called. You did it, she said. Her voice sounded smaller. But it's bigger than Marcus. They'll hunt you. Let them, I said. I'm not the man you threw out. That night, she appeared in David Mitchell's hallway, pale and shaking. Your grandmother wasn't just hiding from enemies, she said. She was part of them, the network. Marcus inherited operations. You inherited the archive. Where do you fit? She swallowed. I was meant to keep you out, keep you small. The marriage was a job. 15 years of love filed under assignment. She glanced at a black sedan idling across the street. Those aren't Marcus's people. They want what your grandmother left, and to erase anyone who's seen it. She handed me a folder, names, accounts, decades of operations. She was their accountant and their insurance policy, Clara said. Expose it before they erase you. At midnight, she texted me to meet at Bethesda Fountain. Central Park wore its midnight face, shadows, footsteps, the city's breath. Clara waited in black, eyes on the trees. This is the rest, she said, passing another folder. Global, above governments, elections, wars, economies, they decide. Your grandmother kept everything. And you? I asked. I was supposed to kill you, she said to the dark. Make it look like suicide and burn the records. I can't. Figures moved at the park's edge. She stepped backward, tears slick on her cheeks. Expose it, even if it kills me. Then she vanished into the trees. I ran the documents to Gabriel. He went paler than his paper. We don't publish a story, he said. We publish a detonation. 72 hours later, we did. The Shadow Empire. How a secret organization has shaped global finance and politics for 5 decades. Documents, names, wire trails, photos, the whole rot. Footnoted, governments fell. Trading halted. Senators resigned before breakfast. One was arrested during a press conference. A prime minister was found dead in his office. Banks imploded. The world realized the conspiracy theorists had been aiming too small. Marcus was arrested again. Racketeering. Conspiracy. Counts that added up to a life measured in concrete meals. No smirk this time. Clara disappeared. Rumors claimed river, runway, or reinvention. I chose to believe she found a beach and a name that didn't require lies. The FBI offered witness protection. I said no. It's hard to vanish when protesters chant your name and your face is the thumbnail for ordinary man brings down shadow state. So I vanished myself. 5 years later, in a Portuguese fishing town that smells of salt and bread, I own a small bookshop and answer to Miguel Santos, a name my grandmother tucked into a false bottom years before I knew I'd need it. I recommend paperbacks, pour coffee, and watch boats come home in the gold light. Sometimes, on quiet nights, I open the garage behind my house and run a hand over a midnight blue thunderbird that crossed an ocean with me. I hear waves, not sirens. Locals ask about my past. I tell them I used to be someone who forgot how to live. Now I read, repair, and walk the cliffs at dawn. Occasionally, I think I catch a glimpse of Clara in a summer crowd, just a tilt of a head, a laugh. Maybe it's memory being kind. My grandmother once wrote, "Never hesitate." In this business, hesitation is just a fancy word for suicide. I thought she meant choosing a cereal. She meant choosing a life. I wasn't the useless man my wife shoved into the rain. I was the quiet piece on the board no one guarded, the one that ends the game when it finally moves, and that, I've learned, is enough.